This is a little experimental. Welcome. From Atlantic City, New Jersey, Paris Island, South Carolina, BFE, Idaho, Norman, Oklahoma, Colorado Springs, and all points in between, dog. This is the Art of Floundering. Welcome everybody to tonight's impromptu. I know a lot of people need to look at a lot of vibes, so I'll try to have the background change periodically in order to ensure that you people that are flying high right now, like, wow, I'm tripping out. Well, that's right, man. You're on the pot, you junkie. Come on, man. Well, hello, Limey Redneck. We're getting ready to get started with the show. We did a live episode about 10 minutes ago. It was a puppet show. This is not a puppet show. We'd like to think of this as just our way of saying, hey, you know, alright, I'll sing you guys a tune, man. Because I know this stream is going viral, man. Are you ready? Hey, Joe. Where you going with that marijuana delivery device in your hand, man? Oh, come on, Joe. Yo, hey, Joe. Why you tripping on that hemp plant, bro? Yeah. Yo, I'm going down to blow some grass. Get high with Jesus, ride donkeys into Jerusalem. That's what I'm talking about, man. Can you feel it, man? Sorry, Mr. Hendrix, but I'm going to bastardize another one of his tunes in an effort to reach junkies. Did you know, in this country, America, over 8 billion people die from marijuana overdose every year? Can't lie with the data, man. And take a look around the streets, man. All the degradation, filth, whatever's happened to our moral fabric. Well, she's walking with a marijuana delivery device in her hand, man. And she's on the pot. She's a junkie, man. Take a look at the marijuana needle track marks between her toes. OnlyFans, I'm on the pot. And anything goes, yeah. A little something like this. Yo, when the weed pusher man comes to her, dog, she's gonna do whatever it takes. It's gonna come to me, don't worry. It's alright, you're blowing grass, man. You're a junkie. Can't you see? You're on the marijuana delivery device. Take it in. I'm gonna play this axe while you junkies trip out. Can you dig what I'm putting down? Yeah, man. Taking you where my mama lives. Stay off the pot. Hey man, how's everybody doing out there? Hey, let's say hi to people in chat. Limey Redneck first. Hold up, Riley Patrick. Riley Patrick, peace and love, man. Please don't have high expectations for tonight's show. Limey Redneck, peace and love. I'm doing well. And hey, where'd he go? There he is. A proud supporter. That's right. Ian Nunez. I know who you are now. Gosh, it's so good to see you, man. And look, it's a good positive message. I'm glad it's getting out there. You know, during the day, I work with degenerates. And I tried to reach the degenerates. And it's a true story. I was like, I know. I'll try to captivate the little tyke's interest with science. So I played a video of Apollo 13 documentary. One of the young degenerates, 9 of the 10 were asleep. But I was able to reach that one degenerate who spends his life blowing grass, not paying attention to his authority figures, totally disregarding the rules, and doing the pot as if there's no consequences to that. So while watching the video, he goes, Mr. Will, this video's badass, man. And while cursing's not allowed, I'd like to meet the young degenerates where they're at. And I say, that's right, young degenerate. Maybe if you pull your head out of your ass and learn how to tie your shoes and quit flipping out on that narcotic to pot, you might get out of this fucking room and do something with your life. I try to reach him, you know. And he goes, you know, I'm really digging this science, man. I think I want to be the first person to go to Mars. And I'm like, wow, you can do that. You can do anything you put your mind to. And he goes, yeah. And when I get there, I want to smoke a big fat joint on Mars, man. Sit back and relax, man. Please allow me to introduce myself. They call me POTUS. So why you hating? Can't you see? Everything I do, I do for you, man. Pleased to meet you, suckers. I think you already know my motherfucking name, yo. 'Cause gaslighting you, dog, that's the nature of my game. One more time. Goes a little something like this. I got myself a deferment seed, 'cause I got myself a family and I'm working on my second graduate degree, dog. So send the boys on in. Don't pull out, man. After all, that don't sound American. Oh yeah, I think you know who I am. They call me the chicken hawk. And dog, I'm nationwide. Yeah, man, I'm the chicken hawk. Do what I say, not what I do, yeah. Sorry, man, we got sidetracked. The message here is getting off the pot, okay? Look, it's more than just that. That's the start, because then you have a clean head, man. Okay, here it is. I'm thinking about getting into life coaching, dude. Okay, so let me run a little life coaching by you. Hey, man, did you ever connect the dots? The fact that your life is in the tank and that marijuana delivery device is on your nightstand. I got a brainstorm for you, junkie. How about eschewing the pot for a change? And maybe that clear head will get you starting to think right again. Because after all, aren't you tired of pursuing foolishness? You know, I spent a lot of times on the streets interacting with the degenerates of today. And I do this because I want to have some semblance of street cred. And what I've noticed is the unrealistic expectations of the user of the pot. And that's the most damaging thing about this narcotic. It puts false hope in your head, dude. I mean, I've seen so many people that are flipping out in the midst of marijuana trips talking fucking foolishness, man. Like, you know something? Maybe there's more to life than getting up and grinding at my place of work. And I'm like, what kind of woke bullshit is that, man? Why don't you get off that fucking hippie narcotic and join all of us? Right, Ian? Right, Ian? Join all of us. Limey, you know what I'm talking about. Join all of us. And say, hey, man. Nah. There's a better way. This here's kind of a dark song. A little story behind it. In my previous life, see, hang on, let me pull it up because it's really, you know, I got it memorized, but I'm just weird in my old age. You know, I'm going to be 61, dude, but I'm not trying to be all that. But I'm pretty sure I'll be able to pass for 60. And you can chalk that up to a life of doing the right thing. And in particular, when I was in my trying to make it in the rock and roll, man. Right on. So Ian, you know what I'm talking about. Ian could pass for 59, dog. He's a player. He knows. Clean living, man. That's what clean living... Look, dude. You want to be fucking 60 and still look 59? Then drop the fucking marijuana delivery device. So I was on a douchebag business trip. A place called Nashville, and I'm not really a country music guy. And I was going through this phase, man, where I decided the pot was foolish, man. And it was a better life for me. And that business trip was tangible truth, man. And I assessed my life. And there was this folk punk act playing. And this cat gets up with a banjo. And he sings this song, man. And I was like, wow, it's an interesting song. Flash forward, man. Eons later. I'm in the midst of my evolution, see. And I reacquaint myself with this song. And I found out the guy that wrote it and everything died from a heroin overdose. Name of the song is When I Get My Gun. Name of the band is Spitshine. When I get my gun, Lord, I'm checking out everything. Lord, I'm going down. There ain't no one I love or that I treated well. I'm holding on to you. I'm staring into hell. I'm holding on to you. I'm staring into hell. This is where it gets to be a lot of hope right here. A bullet for me. And a bullet for you. I'm going down, and you're coming too. But I cut you down, and baby, that ain't no lie. Next time we have it out, we're both gonna die. Next time we have it out, we're both gonna die. Interlude. Just take our time, man. That's old Colorado City in the background, by the way. I do walking videos for people that have trouble getting around. That was kind of a virtue signal, sorry, man. Didn't mean to do that. But I got my medicine, baby, baby, baby. You know that's not gonna do. 'Cause every hurt I have, I've taken it out on you. I'm broken down, Baby, I'm no good. I don't know why you don't leave me when you know you should. I don't know why you don't leave me when you know you should. Heroin is really bad, man. All jokes aside, yes, heroin is bad. And let us not judge those that get on it. There are many paths to the top of Mount Fuji, and there are many paths to heroin. It's very interesting that a number of people that are on the smack started as chronic pain patients, and then thanks to our wise... See, look, if you've got a health problem, doctors don't know shit, dude. The DEA knows fucking health. And so, if you're in fucking pain and you're fucking stupid enough to go waste your time talking to some person, some so-called doctor, right? Doctor. That went to a so-called medical school is going to tell you, going to know more than the DEA about your health? No, dude. DEA knows. And they know that, you know, if you're a 80-year-old chronic pain person that lives their entire life laying down because they're unable to sit because of the chronic pain, the DEA knows that it's in your best interest not to take a 5 milligram hydrocodone, because that's the gateway. So then they give you a little relief. I can go on and on and on. But this is not a soapbox, man. At least not for that. So, little aside, because it seems like Ian and myself are of the same age-ish. I'm older. Ian's gonna go to be 60, or he is 60. Well, yeah, that's radical, dude. But in a couple weeks, I'll be 61. So face. I'm joking, dude. But he might be able to understand this. And I know this is so cliche. You know, it's so cliche. But it is what it is. And I think maybe life is cliche and there's a point to it. And I don't know, there's a statistical pattern. I've given up trying to figure out why that there is a statistical pattern and shit. Anyway. So, up until the age of 51, I spent my life thinking I was pretty gosh darn incredible. And along that delusion is this slow corruption, or it's like you let one thing go. It's easier to let the next thing go, and the next thing, I'm not going to do this because I'm going to make this trade-off because I want to obtain this particular whatever the fuck it is bullshit that people like me growing up believing that means that I'm a person of value. What you do or whatever, right? That kind of bullshit. And to get there, it's all me. Just this fucking narcissistic fucking, just kind of going through life, not like as an asshole, but just like apathetic. Apathetic to to everybody's bullshit because you're too busy pursuing your own shit. And it's all cliche. And I've said this 1,000 times, but my epiphany was when I got hurt and I, realized, I was like, wow, man. I had this doctor. He goes, just got to tell you something. And this was his language. He goes, you're really fucked. He goes, your case is impossible. The only advice I can give you is never be an asshole. Because people in life don't want to deal with assholes. And doctors don't want to deal with assholes because assholes are problems. And he goes, the kind of doctor that's going to be capable of fixing what this is certainly going to be able to turn down anybody that presents any amount of fucking grief. So my advice to you is accept the fact that there's no hope, but at the same time, don't be an asshole, just in case there is hope. And it sounds ridiculous, but it was at the same time other stuff I thought about. The way I looked at the world, the way I kind of was all about me, and I assessed all the stuff I had done, and I'm like, wow, man, it's been about, just stuff that doesn't, at the end of the day, it just destroyed, or it took, so you have that epiphany. So here I am, 1965, May 13th, January 14th, man, 1966 for Ian. I was born May 13th, 1965, in the great state of New Jersey. Anyway, so here I am. I get this miracle. And there's a lot of things that's fucked up about me. And there's a lot of things that, I'm never going to be proud, but I'm not ashamed of who I am right now. But I spend my days doing, and I intentionally put myself into a space where I knew nobody wanted to do this. And I thought, well, great, this appeals to my hippie notion of trying to, pay it forward, so to speak. So all of my experience, so to speak, in my education, whatever the fuck, is all like, the Marines, pinhead fucking corporate America, and then, government executive bullshit. None of it, all of it, especially the last 20 years of my, quote, working, career before my accident, was spent anyway, just soulless. And so I thrust myself in this. One of the things that hit me during my journey, I looked out into this world that I don't understand because I didn't watch the news from 2016 to New Year's Day 2023. So I woke up into a world that was like, wow, man, there is a lot that has changed. Let me try to not talk and listen and understand. And about a year after my surgery, I was strong enough to try something. So I took this job working with kids that nobody gives a fuck about. That, there is no place for them. The systems that we have don't meet their needs because they're not set up for that. In their defense, the public school system, even though it's a Title I, which means this is a, quote, uh, low income school. But, so, what I've noticed is, so I get into this gig, and I've never worked in public education, and I've got every day, it's like the same kind of, it's the same kids. Go here, go to Mr. Will, go to Mr. Will, go to Mr. Will, and they're expecting me. Because they got this fucking hard on when they go, oh, you were in the Marines, great. That's what these kids need. They need hardcore discipline. These kids are 12, right? Yeah, and they're like, yeah, that's the answer. Marine Corps boot camp. Now look, I don't know dick, but I'm thinking, I don't know if that's the answer, man. Something tells me, my spidey sense as I'm looking around is telling me. And of course, I can go on and on and on with the stories, because they're not like my mom's on Valium and daddy plays too much golf. It's daddy's in jail and mom OD'd on heroin, and I didn't sleep last night because the cops and the fucking EMTs kept me up because they had to Narcan my fucking mom back to life as she was fucking flatlining in the bathroom of this Skid Row fucking hotel that we're staying in tonight, but I don't know where we're staying tomorrow. I can go on and on and on. Got this other kid, 13, from Jump Street, grew up in a trap house, told me that his best Christmas was a couple years ago when him and his mom were house flopping, and they were able to flop in this house in a real rich neighborhood because they're out of town, and there were really rich people that lived next door, and they were able to boost some really cool shit for Christmas, and that was his best Christmas. I can go on and on and on with this kid's stories, but the current state is this. His dad's in jail for the next 24 years. His mom just got out of jail, and she's already fucking up on her probation. His grandparents kicked him out because nobody can handle him. Well, you can't ever treat anybody like a victim and expect them to move forward in life. But if you don't take some time to understand that perhaps yelling at this kid and telling him he's a piece of shit and to shut the fuck up and on and on and on is just more of the same message that this fucking kid gets every fucking day. You're a piece of shit. You don't matter. We don't care. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. So I'll get back to the kid. One of the things, the epiphany I had, is the way we're brought up. There's nothing wrong with it, because life is about balance. I'm a big believer in living in the gray. I don't like binary thinking, man. I don't like either or. That's why, what's going on now, just it breaks my heart, man, because it's so binary. And it's like, why are we like ruining friendships and family relationships over a difference in opinion and how one another sees the world? And then how can we expect to live in coexistence when it's like, well, if this person doesn't fucking see the world the way I do, and fuck them, they don't have a right to fucking exist. but I'm a giver. I'm about coexistence, except when it comes to when you do accept her, but you're not. You know, I saw a beautiful moment in a fucking weed shop during election season where one guy was wearing the baseball hat with the candidate for president from Party A, and the other person was wearing the baseball hat for the presidential candidate in Party B. Both of them in a dispensary of the narcotic of the pot, getting ready to purchase, and go home and partake of the sacrament. Despite their differences and all whatever, their hat choices, they're going to blow grass, man. I would say they probably have a lot more in common, especially when they're both blowing grass, than they don't. I know that's a hippie notion. But this programming we get where teamwork, the team comes first. Come on, all the. I'm not saying these things are wrong. These are important things. But I think what happens is because we're kind of programmed to put other things ahead of us, we forget that we put like these institutions in place that they're supposed to serve us. And I think along the way, we forget that. And we start serving the institution first at the expense of us. And we can sit there and we can lecture, we can whine, and we can da-da-da-da-da. But it happens. And it happens everywhere. And I don't know how to solve it, and I don't know the root cause. But one of my theories is, if you are programmed to put the team above everything else, then you're programmed to be in a situation that when you're working for the team and the team is doing something corrupt, you're going to protect the team. Now, let's pretend we live in the land of make-believe where the program was, teams are important, but the very most important thing is us. And never forget that we have these things to protect us. So when the person steps out and says, hey, there's corruption and there's things that aren't right that are going on in organization ABC that I'm a part of, this person's not viewed as a narc and he's got the wrong set of values and can't be trusted. This person is viewed both internally and externally as this is exactly the kind of people we are. That puts who we're supposed to service over the organizations that we put in place. Here's another example. I'm trying to adopt a dog. I see this perfect fucking dog for me, right? This is a rescue place. I say, hey, man, I want the dog. I go hiking, blah, blah, blah. The woman's like, great, dude, tell me your daily schedule. I give her my daily schedule. She goes, you're not at home for a couple hours a day. I go, no, but in the summertime, yeah, but the dog will be by himself. Yeah, but my mom will be around. But your mom's in her 80s. So we have a policy that if you can't commit to being around the dog 24/7, we can't let you adopt a dog. Now, at first I was upset because I was inconvenienced. But then I was like, you know what? No. I respect what they did. Sure, I'm inconvenienced. But they've got a standard. This is a dog. This is they rescue dogs from doggy puppy mills and stuff. That's the organization, and they've got a standard, and they're not going to deviate their standard, because my happiness as a potential customer comes second to the welfare of the dog. You see what I'm saying? And so it may sound crazy to me. It may be like, oh, you don't understand. I'm different. You know? She's like, I don't give a fuck. Because I'm not here to make you fucking happy. My job is to fucking find the perfect home for this fucking dog, and you don't meet the perfect home criteria. Because I'm not going to forget that I'm here to, quote, serve the needs of the dogs. I'm not going to fucking put them at risk because I'm trying to make you happy first. That's the kind of hippie bullshit revelation kind of thing. So I wonder how much of that permeates, you know? And I'm sorry for talking about that because it puts me right back. So here I am. And without going into details, I'm watching because, unfortunately, I'm well versed in the art of corporate, institutional, and organizational gaslighting bullshit and Enron financial mathematics. I'm well versed in it. For example, let's say you're at Acme Corporation and you're producing things that are really bad for the environment. But your shareholders really like the fucking profits. And after all, every fucking business school in the United States of America will tell you that the most important focus of any organization is to focus on maximizing shareholder value. I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm not saying profit is a dirty word, but it creates short-term thinking at the expense. But anyway, so now you've got these pesky environmentalist hippie types saying that they don't like your toxic waste. They don't like the fact that you're putting entire communities at risk because you want to, you know, increase profits by 0.023% in quarter four. Well, look, you don't have to fucking do anything. That's foolish. But what you can do is you can say, you know what? I'd like to think that this organization is about people, not profits. And I'm not above learning. And I want to thank you guys for making me aware of the impact of our products, and we're stewards of the environment in this organization. And because I'd like to think that we do more than talk, we're about action, here's what I'm going to commit to you. A blue ribbon panel. You can pick the 5 members from your side, and we'll have representation from our side, and we'll get to the bottom of this issue. And you walk away. Ain't nothing gonna fucking happen. But you've created the appearance of concern. You've created the appearance that you give a shit. But your whole intent is to delay. Because time is money. And you got to keep shareholders happy. So this thinking is permeated everywhere. It's short-term thinking. It's like, you know, I've seen public education do things that have completely blown my mind. I went through the effort of data tracking all the behavior incidents. I geeked out for them. I said I could create a quality management type system, but instead of products, it'll be students. And I will track the adverse behavior. And when I have enough data, we'll be able to predict when, if, that, a bunch of different variables. And not only will we be able to predict the variables, but now we might be able to control it. Case in point was, I was like, hey, these are the times and the locations. They're the high probabilities for fights. Instead of reacting to it, why don't you stage the fucking resource officer there? They started doing that. Wouldn't golly gee whiz. Next thing you know, but they're not looking at these things. And I know this kind of shit's boring. But if you're not going to measure things, and if you're not going to have clear cut of this is the measurement of the outcome, you're going to flounder. And you're going to wonder why you have the same systemic shit that happens every year and you can't accomplish anything. Well, it's because you don't have a structured approach, right? Like, they've got all this shit going on. And I'm like, do you ever think about tracking it? Maybe there's something you can learn from this. Like, for example, and this is my point, it's called the Pareto principle. It's a 20-80 rule. 20% of the, quote, I don't want to use that term, 20% of the things that are not going optimal are consuming 80% of your time, resources, effort, worry, however you want to define that. So in other words, if you can nail 20%, you're going to nail 80% of your problems. So in other words, if you've got a student body of 100, 20 of those are not quite playing nice. And then when you drill down into this 20%, and you go, I wonder what the root cause of this is. The anger, the fact that they're sleeping, the fact that they're defiant, the fact that this, that, the other thing. And there's one thing they all have in common, and it's poverty. Poverty is the root cause. And it's a vicious cycle that goes in circles, generational. And it's not because, well, there's all, and I'm looking at actual data, and I'm seeing that the root cause that's happening in my little world is spiking. In other words, the poverty rate is on the increase, and it's tapping a lot of different communities. So one could expect that this thing that you don't think is a big deal, it's just these 20 kids. Fuck them. Suspend them. Well, we can't do that because that makes the numbers look bad. And it's so, and I can go on and on. We'll turf them. We'll throw them in and out of in-school suspension. They won't know how to read and write. We don't give a fuck. The other ones aren't getting fucked. I can go on and on and on. But the people that work in public education, the teachers and the principals and all those that do their job are fucking heroes, dude. Because it is thankless, and the systems that are in charge of them do not care. Do not give a fuck. Because at the end of the day, they don't represent a large part of the financial pot, when you take a look at the big picture on the tax revenues and the bonds and all the fucking bullshit. What do we care? They're mad. What are they going to do? Take their so what? It's not going to be a financial impact to us. What do we care? We're trying to be fiscally sustainable. After all, how can we show improvement if we got to include these folks on all the data? But there's nowhere else to really put them. So instead of doing our job, what we'll do is we'll turf them in a room and we will pretend that we're looking into doing something, perhaps with the Blue Ribbon Committee or other various administrative meetings. And at the end of the year, nothing will be done. And then these same particular kids who have now bonded with you. For whatever freak reason, I'm good at this. I don't know why. But I have a way of meeting them where they're at. I'm mellow. I don't give them a hard time. But they'll work with me. It's not perfect. And I'm not virtue signaling. But I'm looking right now, there's like 6 more weeks left of this fucking school year. And it's like, it's clear to me that this school that I'm working at, this middle school, and once again, I've never worked in public education. So I don't know what I don't know, but I do know chaos. I do know, just lack of just... Here's an example. This is my second school year. Last year I did half a school year, right? Like I said, I looked in and I was like, this looks like a job nobody wants to do. And I was right. Nobody wants to do this job, but I love it. But anyway, I'm in a meeting with the fucking school administration. All right. And this year I don't say anything, but I'm in the meeting. And they're asking me my opinion on things. And I say, hey, look, one of the things that might be easier than expecting me to yell at these kids and have that be effective, maybe having some consistency with the teachers in like how they do tardy. And it was this dude that was in this guy. He was a good dude. He's a good teacher, but he had these rules, right? He's like, look, if you're not in your chair when the bell rings, that's a tardy. That's a pretty reasonable expectation, right? Well, the problem is he's got that rule. Another teacher has a different rule for how they do tardy. And you're trying to like teach kids and you have no kind of like structure for what the rules are. They're inconsistent depending on what the teacher is. And I'm just giving you one example with tardy. So I bring this up. I said, why don't you do, I think Mr. XYZ, he's got it written down. I mean, I haven't worked in education, but I remember what it's like to be a degenerate, having, that expectation and knowing it's the expectation in every class certainly makes it easier because you're not trying to figure out what teacher has what rule. They go, well, we like to give the teachers autonomy with how they do things. And I say, okay. do you allow the math teachers to have autonomy? What do you mean? I said, well, the curriculum that they teach, which is called Eureka. I said, that's from the district. You guys paid X amount of $1 million for this curriculum. You tell the teachers they have to teach from this. They tell you it's not effective. They understand the students. So you're giving them agency in an administrative function, which is your job, and you're not giving them agency in the teaching, which is their job. So you're 180 out. You know? So anyway, these are the, but they wonder, why? Hey man, how come we can't get on top of this? Well, it's because like one day you got this rule and the other day you got this rule. And you're dealing with traumatized kids. You gotta treat them with respect. And one of the things of being respectful is giving this kid some kind of consistency in a world that's totally chaos outside of there. You expect them to like radically change the way they approach the world once they walk in the doors of that school. Yet, you've got a different set of rules depending on the teacher's mood. And that's just, but anyway. So, because I think I've come to the conclusion that perhaps things could have been better run. Like, none of the administration is coming back. Like the principal, the vice principal, the principal and vice principal are retiring. The dean of students is moving on. And there's all kinds of other people that are moving on. And I understand. You see, I'm old. I'm not there for the bread. My biggest frustration is I want to figure out how to be better at this. I want to figure out, it's one thing to be able to like connect and all this, but I want to be able to have a better understanding of how to really be effective in what works and what doesn't work. And I'm learning that, but I'd like to do a little bit deeper dive and get better and better and better at it. So I'm willing to work hard at it. And it's not about the money. I'm all in. This is like a calling, and I can go on and on and on. But when I look out at the fucking world, it's the only thing that I'm just like, well, at least, I'm just not going to participate in the nonsense. And I'm going to try to figure out this small fucking space of the world. And maybe someone else will do the same thing, and it'll be the butterfly effect. But getting back to this. And I've been in organizations like this that everybody knows they're going to get sold out, or there's something coming down, and they're all fucking going. And I understand it. And if I would do the same thing. So it's not a judgment. They're doing the right thing. But I'm like, I can't do it, man. I find the school district to be unholy. They're so full of shit. They're so full of shit. Oh my God. But hey, they are who they are. I don't know why. I really went down a tangent. I apologize, guys. I didn't mean to go down that tangent. So I hope you enjoyed the footage of walking. With that said, we're going to call this because it's late and I got to get up in the morning and shape the minds, man. Please, please, please. Like and subscribe. And if you need, it's not comedy. What this is and my other stuff, none of it. I'm not a performer. I'm a guy with a lot of issues. some of them PTSD, but just a lot of issues. And I find these forays on YouTube with the weird live shows and stuff, I find them to be therapeutic. Because what I do, I don't do it as well because I'm not in pain anymore. But when I was in pain, I would just try to go back to this time when I was a kid. Like you're 5 or 6 and you're playing and nobody's watching. I just do that. And just try to escape to that place where you're just saying whatever comes in your head. And you're like, da, 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 to the next thing, to the next thing, to the next thing. There's no script. You're just going to go where the childlike degeneracy wonder takes you, dude. So I find doing that to be therapeutic if, depending for me, if there's, it's kind of like a meditation. If it's, if you can't run marathons anymore, do filthy puppet shows. You may not get the runner's high, but you'll get the same meditative benefit in that your mind is kind of somewhere else besides, this, you know what I'm saying. What? Yeah, I know. What you're looking at, this is it's a mask. It's an art piece that I did way back when, and I decided to animate and put different colors on it. But this isn't the way it originally looked. It didn't have hair and it wasn't silver. But it is all the stuff. Yeah, man. Yeah. Just my way of saying things are really working out for me. And things are going great. I'm doing good. And take a look at me. I'm a stable kind of cat. And, that kind of thing. But thank you for commenting on what the original art piece was called Recovery. And somebody actually used it in some hippie, I don't know the name of the movie because I was in pain. They just came and got it. And I was like, but they used it in some kind of hippie independent film that, no one's seen. But so it was used in that. And then there was another piece I did called Intellectual Spooning that was used in some. But all this stuff I did just when I was hurt. The reason why I learned how to animate was because I used to work with puppets with the back injury. But eventually, even moving my arms was hard. So that's when I learned to animate. I started animating all the puppets so I can digitally do it. It's kind of the same thing I would do with my arms, up and down. I would just make them bop up and down and kind of do the same thing. That's why I play nylon guitar. Weird thing happened was my spinal injury. For whatever reason, I was unable to, I can't, even now, I had to retrain the way I play guitar. But, I can't do bar chords. I can do them now, but it hurts a lot. But it's really weird. But for me, and after the injury, for a variety of reasons, and I never played nylon guitar in my life, but that was how I retaught myself to play guitar, because it was, I had one. It was a Cordoba GK Gypsy Kings Pro with the rosewood back. I like rosewood backs because of a more bassier sound. Anyway, the point to it was really light, so I wasn't able to sit up, and the dreadnoughts were too heavy when I would put it on my chest. But this classical was light enough, and the nylon strings because everything was so weak, was easy for me to push down on and stuff. So and I just had to reteach myself, like, okay, I can't do that anymore. So maybe I'll do this, and I can't do that. So maybe I'll do this. And so it's really weird because I don't play the way I used to play because I can't. And so it's not better, worse, whatever. It's just different, you know. So it is what it is. You make do, right? And you roll with it. But that's the thing. So not trying to be a douchebag. So I don't think that anything happened to me for a fucking reason. I don't think anything happens to us for a fucking reason. I think probability is an outcome. Shit happens. Now, when it happens, you got to do what you got to do to get through it, right? And so, so you try to make sense of it. And a lot of people try to make sense of it. Like, I'm going to try to, be a good guy and do this and do that and da 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 da. So, what I want, and I feel like there's got to be a way to quantify, to package, to whatever, the shit that worked for me that might work for this particular population I'm dealing with at their level. And I'm not talking pot humor, but the same outlet, the same process of mental escape. There was some school, I forget where, but they did transcendental meditation of all fucking things. And who knows, the data may be bogus. It may be yet another fucking grift. And this was a long time ago, so what I'm saying may be totally fucking wrong, so don't quote me. But they came into this school that had a lot of discipline issues, a lot of behavior issues, and they taught transcendental meditation, and that, like, a lot of that kind of went away. And the stuff that I'm seeing, it's easy to be old and through all these fucking challenges and go like, what you got to understand is all this is going to make you stronger, Tiger, and da da da. There's an age and a place in life to be hearing that. But when you're trying to swing shoes and food and a place to sleep, that shit ain't going to resonate, So, trauma, there's anger. I mean, there's all kinds of expressions of trauma. And I'm not a shrink. And quite frankly, at my age, I don't have the time to go be one. I've got a PhD. It's totally useless for this. Industrial engineering and management with a focus on statistical process control. Absolutely has nothing to do with what I described to you. I have no skill set in this, zero. Every day, I'm humbled. Like, fuck, I'll figure it out. Because I think most of it is just giving a shit enough to, like, take the time to fucking look into shit. Because everybody I work with that's supposed to be the experts constantly Googling or chat GPT and shit. So I'm going like, do I really, I want to learn, right? But do I want to spend like fucking at least 50 large to fucking regurgitate fucking papers for 2 years in some bullshit master's in counseling program so I can fucking do what I'm already doing? You know what I mean? But I'm not above learning, but there's a hustle to all this too that I see through. It's like, look, the whole point of education is to be able to teach yourself things. So there comes a certain point. I'm not talking about wanting to do open heart surgery. I'm not talking about designing something. I'm not talking about anything that puts lives at risk. You know. But anyway, but the professionals are like Googling and Chat GPT. Here's a trip. I'm watching this fucking board meeting. And they've got this fucking director, doctor, whatever. I have never seen, and I don't want to offend anybody, man. If you're the kind of person that wants to be called doctor, I'm not putting that down. I'm not. Because we all have our, I get it. But I've never seen so many soft science fucking PhDs, EDDs fucking get off on calling one another doctor. Now, this is what this high level education has brought you. The doctor that was in charge, the director of community engagement, was there to report on the $3 million investment the school district has put into the social media. We are the district's name. We are D whatever. Questions asked during the board meeting. Seems to be a lot of money. Yes, but once again, we're trying to engage the public that we have so much to offer here in D whatever. Well, that's fair. That's a great goal. How are you measuring the effectiveness of this campaign? Now, this director, spent the next 2 minutes tap dancing and not answering the question. Saying things like, well, the consultants are saying they're getting a lot of positive feedback in the comments on TikTok. That's how they're going to measure the success of a multi-million-dollar investment in a social media company. The company that we paid millions of dollars to tells us that we've got a lot of positive comments on our TikTok page. Here's another idea, doctor. If the goal is to, quote, increase engagement, one of the indicators of engagement would be increased enrollment. Therefore, perhaps one of the ways to help quantify, or at least attempt to quantify, the multi-million-dollar investment is to actually look and present the measurement on the thing that it was supposed to impact. Gee whiz. I guess what I have to do is go get an EDD and regurgitate fucking papers that nobody will fucking read. Nobody will fucking read. I get it. Where? They don't know cursive. Where? They don't ... Well, guess what, establishment? The only people that give a fuck about your 60-page position papers is the same circle of jerk-offs that you surround yourself with and you get nothing done. We live in the world of a Twitter tweet. You got to get concise. You got to quit overcomplicating things. It's almost intentional. The morass. We've overcomplicated enough, but you got to simple. I can go on and on. Thank you. Results. You know what? Amen. It is. And that was the epiphany I had, Alonzo. That was the epiphany I had. I sat there and I thought, gee whiz, what a surprise. I'm working in something that's very broken, very corrupted on all levels. But I love what I'm doing. And am I going to be not a quitter, am I going to allow my delusion of thinking or wanting to believe that I can somehow be associated with anything that's 100% perfect in this world rob me of something that I love doing, that I learn from every day? So you kind of weigh the... Alonzo, right now I'm holding in the way. I work with kids that get in trouble in school. Academic behavior support. But I don't know anything about it. I learn as I go. But I've learned a lot. And it's... You know, it was weird because after the accident, I thought, okay, I'm gonna work with people that are recovered from traumatic accidents, and I'm gonna, to benefit from all my experience. And gee whiz, man, look at me. Can I inspire you to just hang in there tomorrow, the next day, Because that's the battle with traumatic accidents is suffering, and coming to terms with that you're going to suffer a lot, and that may be it. But anyway, I did this a year and a half ago. I said this earlier, but I just had my back surgery, and in 2023, the morning of, and after a little over a year, I was strong enough to do something. And one of the promises I made when things were at their worst is, if some miracle I was ever to get better, I would never go back to the same douchebag type stuff I would do. I would try to do something good. So if this was only supposed to be temporary until I could, quote, figure other things out, but I just really kind of loved it. But then I refuse to I will not ever manage or anything like that. But I will see trends. And, I think what I'm seeing, I just think there might be a better way of dealing with this. But I'm not an expert. But I think working with other people that give a shit, you eat the elephant one bite at a time. So as unrealistic as this is, I'm like, well, maybe this will be an opportunity to be around people that know what they're doing when it comes to this. And because all I have is this prism, Thank you, or I'm not sure, but thank you, man. I appreciate that. It's odd, dude. We're all broken. I agree, dude. I think I've got corporate PTSD because you cannot. Look. The last thing I want to be is like the unfiltered fucking old guy that's always like, it's a crock of shit. While that's funny, I don't want to be that guy. Having said this, the only thing I give a shit, the only commodity that is truly sacred to me is time. I'm not there. Believe me, there's no money in what I'm doing. I don't want to waste time doing stupid things. I don't mind being in a meeting. But if I'm going to be in a meeting and we're going to come up with a fucking plan, then do it. Let's not fucking meet next week and rehash the plan that we didn't do because you're too stupid enough to like. Here's a concept. At the end of the meeting, why don't you jot down what we agreed to, what the plan was, and who does what? Send that out in an email with how you're going to measure and follow up that we're doing it. As opposed to, well, this was a fun meeting. We'll meet together next week to see how we're doing. Okay. Come back next week. Well, I didn't do anything. What is it we're supposed to do? I don't know. Well, let's talk about it again. On and on and on and on and on, right? This kind of thing. So, you know, it's just like, look, man, no more. Don't bring me in here for this. It's a waste of my time. If you want to call me into a meeting, have an agenda, because I can't do this. I'm going to tell you what I think. And they go, well, we'd like to hear it. So anyway, I'm just not good in meetings. All right. At my age and the things I've been through, the engineering, analytical, structured part of my brain is done. I can't do it. I can say these are the things you need to do, but fuck that, man. My life is jazz. I don't want to have a plan. I don't want to have to break down the fucking work breakdown structure and the critical path and the this and that and the other. No. I will fucking react. That's what I enjoy doing, which is not congruent, right? But that's okay because I know I lost my fastball, but I'm working on my curveball, see? But one of the things I know that I can't do is I can't do a fucking typical meeting, and we all know what those are, and I can't do them. They fucking. I'm the most. I used to be. Believe it or not, I'm the most mellow guy in the world. There's nothing that can get to me. I'm stoic. It took a lot of pain to get here, but I will flat go into a fucking panic attack if within 10 minutes. If I'm in a go nowhere meeting where everybody's mindlessly droning and there's obviously no fucking point to it, I'm just sitting there going like, oh God, my life's wasting away. What am I doing here? Oh shit. Am I gonna fucking start saying this is fucked up? Whatever you do, don't speak your mind. Oh God, oh God, oh shit, I'm going back in time. Now I'm a douchebag. Oh shit, I'm in a staff meeting. They're all looking at me. I'm pretending I know what I'm talking about. But deep down inside, I know I'm a fucking fraud. But let me continue this fucking charade that not only do I understand what I'm talking about, that I'm actually interested what I'm talking about. But I love it. Because dig this. Accident happens in 2016. 2023, I get better. Not only did I not watch the news, but I didn't really interact with a lot of like people. So the first real conversations I had was last year. We'll call him little Tyke. They didn't know what to do with little Tyke. Little Tyke was always in trouble. I get this note. academic behavior support's a fancy word for in-school suspension. And it's a Title I school. And like I said, I told you the problems. Last year was Gladiator Academy. But anyway. Hey, Mr. Will, said the principal. We're going to, this is November of 2024, the beginning. We're going to put little Tyke with you in school suspension while our crackerjack administration comes up with a plan, because unfortunately little Tyke is unable to not be a total menace to society in every fucking classroom. Little Boner. I like Little Boner. We're going to go with this one. Little Boner. Little Boner is much better. Thank you, Space Cowboy. That's a good one. So, Little Boner's in my room. Little Boner doesn't seem to like his authority figures very much. Little Boner likes to tell his authority figures to go fuck themselves, and on and on and on. So, first day in there, the kid goes, "Hey man, could I have some paper and scissors and some tape?" I'm like, fuck it. Let's see, sure. Because I'm starting to figure out this kid can't read. And I'm also figuring out the school district doesn't understand that he can't read. But anyway, so as I'm assessing, like, okay, this kid can't read. That's one thing. So I'll give him this while I try to figure out what else is going on. So, but he's got artistic skills, because he was able to cut those papers into big blunts and simulate getting high right there, you know, which I thought was interesting. But anyway, this is November, December, January, February, March, April. He's still in the room. The school year gets done May. I won't bore you with the amount of fits and warfare. I mean, the beautiful thing about being in my situation is that when you're not there for the money and you don't care about your career, you can pick the times. If you have to be an asshole, you can do it. The last thing I want to do is have to lecture people that work in public education how to do their jobs, because I don't work in public education. But let me tell you something. I was like, you gotta be fucking telling me it takes you fucking this long to come up with you got a kid in there that can't fucking read. There's no work for him to fucking do. And every fucking week it's the same old story. You're waiting for so-and-so to get back to you. Did you ever think about picking up the fucking phone and getting in touch with so-and-so? Or better yet, how about getting off your ass and walking over to so-and-so's place of work and going, where are you at with this? What's your timeline? Because gee whiz. So anyway, but the point is, I bonded with this kid. I fell in love with this kid. This kid and I have a different kind of relationship, because he was the first person that I had legitimate conversations with after 7-8 years of being away from that. And you talk about an insight. Yeah, middle school. 6 to 8. And so, you know, And all that's not the right thing, and I don't give a fuck, you know? I'm like, look, man, what do you fuck guys expect? And I don't want to hear, well, that's not, fuck you guys, man. But anyway, so I'm coming back and it's going to be interesting. Uh, which is, it's going to be interesting. I'm lucky to be able to do it. With that said, thanks everybody for listening. I kind of went on a tangent, and I apologize for that, man. You can blame the edibles. Here's a thing. Here in Colorado, with altitude, I'm getting up there in years. And prior to my accident, I was, reasonably healthy, dude. I didn't want to have, in the middle of my stuff, I was doing a little over an ounce and a half a week, smoking pot. And so I do edibles, is what, long story short. And so I enjoy that. I find them to be super duper peachy keen, the particular edibles that I do. They're day vibes or night vibes, and they clock in at a viscosity of what is it, 200? It's like high. It's like 2,000. The package is like 2,000 milligrams. So each gummy is clocking at 200 milligrams of the narcotic, the pot, in gummy form. And then so I'll flip out on that, and and not have to worry about the fact that I'm at a higher altitude and I have bronchitis and stuff like that. And I just don't want to hang on. It's that they do flounder. Yeah, I could go on and on, man. It's like, it's not it's not a job I would do as a younger person. I regret not being more service oriented, but there's just no way you could tolerate that shit and raise a family and build an infrastructure of life. And at the same time, it really is. It's like moving to California. It's something to do when you're fucking old and kind of, you're not influenced by a lot of external shit. That's the time to do this, because it's like, it'll drive you fucking crazy, man. But you got to eat the elephant one bite at a time. There's books and there's all that, but real change is not glamorous. It's not well publicized. It's a bunch of people that thanklessly go in and toil and improve one little thing, get crushed, pushed out. The next person moves one little thing, and that continues and continues and continues. Eat the elephant one bite at a time. To expect that I'm capable of fucking curing cancer or putting us on Mars is folly. But to have that go like, well, that means I'm going to wait till I can do those things to fucking really try to do something. So I've got more out of this than they could ever give me. It's a drug. I need it. The challenge is I want to be effective. And so we'll figure that out. With that said, hey, California's got space cowboys in California. What's interesting, dude, is this is anybody who wants to get into teaching. They've got what's called a teacher in residence program. I probably got this wrong, Space Cowboy, but it's up towards the deserts, Santa Clara, I want to say. I think it's Santa Clara. And basically what it is, like, you're not a teacher and you don't have a bachelor's. It's like, you go to this program, you get your bachelor's online, I think, or you work there. No, you work there. You work for them. You get your bachelor's. They pay for that. Then they pay you to work for them. So they're paying for your school, and they're paying you like as a pair or whatever. And then when you get done with school, they pay you as a teacher. So you don't have any student loan debt. And it seems like, I mean, if you want to get, because my thing at this age, I'm not going to spend $50 on something. It's like, look, man, I'm not going to take a fucking $50 test in fucking fractions. I'm just not. I mean, if you want, I mean, I'll take your test. I'm not going to pay to take it. You know. But, so anyway, I can go on and on and on. But the point is, there's just no shortage of interesting things, and I've learned a lot. With that said, I do got to crash. I want to wish everybody peace and love. There is something totally different than what this is. So, please, I mean, I don't want to offend anybody. So a lot of times what I do live, I don't really, I don't ever try to do the humor where I punch up. So I don't try to like demean, except the pot junkie. That the pot junkie needs to be demeaned and humiliated for the dregs of society that they are. So I have no shame in that. But yeah, hey man, peace and love to everybody. It is time to say goodnight. With that said, from all of us to all of you, good night, man.